Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 14 of Graceful, this very professional and I know what I'm doing operation. Last time, what happened last time?
Hasn't been replaying in the background of my mind for a month.
You know how at the end of JoJo is like there is a JoJo little to be continued thing.
Yep. Just have had Roundabout playing just that part of the song. 2 weeks. 4 weeks.
Unrelated, you all have seen Akira, right?
Oh, fun.
25.
No. No. So last time, the crew was attempting to set up a relay, and eventually Claire took a negative chunk of residuum and tapped it to a magical residuum bone. The negative chunk of residuum basically powers spaceships, and the residuum bone is experiments that Claire has been doing for the better part of 13 episodes. Okay. So, DINK. Can I get Constitution saving throws from Clangley, Claire, and Issa? Issa gets advantage.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Finally, oh right.
Constitution's pretty
Okay, I
alright.
know what's going on here, and I don't like it.
Oh, great.
She just created an EMP bomb. Oh my
What's
god.
up? I don't know about that.
Cool. 19.
19? Okay, you're good.
7.
7, you're not so good.
11.
In the kneecaps.
Okay,
11. I got 11.
Clangley and Claire, you are knocked unconscious, and you gain 3 levels of exhaustion. Issa, you gain 1 level of exhaustion as your arm kind of goes numb for a minute, your mechanical arm. And it's
Cool.
really heavy and just like it's just sending feedback that is not comfortable and is really draining for a moment.
Yeah, when this happens, Clangley's like giant eye, the command prompt comes up, and then he just falls over backwards without
Just that the carrot and a bunch of dots.
Classic blue screen noise.
Yes. Wynne.
No, it's a dial-up connection sound, actually.
Yes. I'm on the phone. Stop trying to get on the internet. Wynne, you witness DINK. This purple shockwave emanates from it, and almost immediately Clangley and Claire fall over. You can see that all of the vegetation around you starts to wither, like it did when you cast Wither and Bloom. And kind of there's a reverse, almost like the shockwave comes out and then comes back in, and the negative chunk of residuum is glowing bright purple.
Cool. How long is this going to last until I can actually rip this thing out of Claire's unconscious hands?
Your arm goes numb for a minute because you succeeded on the save, but so after that minute, you have full control over your faculties.
Cool. Wasn't I carrying this thing in like a set of tongs earlier?
You were.
I still have another arm.
Oh yes. You can. Sorry, for some reason I thought you were going to pick it up with your robot arm. No, you said you had tongs earlier, so yeah, you can grab it with your tongs.
Yeah, let's do that. And let's not just wait a full minute.
Yeah, I think Wynne is going to go check on her friends.
Okay.
I was like, we'll say to Issa, what the heck was that?
Angry.
Windows startup sound.
Words not. No, just. If and when Claire wakes up, we are going to have a conversation about this. And she's just going to wordlessly walk off back to the Spelljammer to drop jammer, to reinstall that crystal so when Claire does wake up, it is well out of her hands.
Okay, perfect. I mean, it is a Spelljammer, sort of. Okay. So, Issa goes and grumbles as she enters the ship and starts to reinstall the hardware.
Speak Dwarven, you don't speak Goblin, but you're pretty sure that's a lot of swearing.
Wynne, what would you like to do?
I guess Wynne will. She'll try to make Claire and Clangley comfortable and like just like kind of roll them out and check on them.
Okay.
How big is Wynne exactly?
I think she's like, well, she's gnome sized.
Yeah, what's her strength score? Because I don't know if she can move Clangley.
Probably like 2.5 feet tall or so.
Yeah.
Maybe a little taller.
My strength is 14.
Yeah, Wynne is like the second strongest member of this party, I think.
Yeah, pretty buff.
Yeah.
No, Clangley is like 300 pounds, but...
Yeah, but if she's just rolling you and kind of adjusting you, she can do that. Okay, so you and I think Claire, you're a lot lighter, right? Because you're a lot of ceramic parts, right?
Yeah, she's not very big, and most of the metal in her is just like structural framing with like ceramic pieces on top. So yeah, she's not very heavy. She's a little gangly because she's essentially like without any like magic running through her. She's just like this big weird marionette doll. So you might struggle with her gangly limbs, but other than that, she's not very hard to move.
Yeah.
Did
So
she collapse to the floor? I'm hoping none of her ceramic shattered.
I think she might have been
Ceramic
sitting.
is surprisingly tough.
Yeah, and I think she also might have been sitting up. So kind of would have just gone like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she would just kind of collapse like a creepy animatronic.
Five Nights at Freddy's Mad Scientist.
Except way less gay hating.
Oh, sorry. No, I forgot about that.
I don't know anything about those games.
The
Don't
creator's
try
a
to
terrible
find anything
person.
out.
That's really all you need to know at this point.
Okay, sounds good. Or sounds bad. We'll continue to not know anything about them. We'll not learn anything further. All I needed to know. Okay, so Wynne adjusts both Claire and Clangley, make sure they're as comfortable as can be in sort of the now kind of desiccated little circle of swamp you're all in. Looking around, you can see that like fish and kind of insects kind of are floating in the fetid water where they clearly had some something drained from them.
Cork doing?
Oh. You don't see Cork.
Oh no. I guess Wynne will call for Cork if they're around.
Okay. That's pretty good. Okay. Kind of calling for Cork, you can see towards the edge of the clearing, this static that kind of keeps appearing and disappearing in the shape of Cork. Like they're trying to pull themselves back together, and they're kind of trying to like grab new bits of the swamp around them to reform their kind of static residuum body.
Yeah, I guess after Wynne's done helping helping out her friends, she'll go like try to make a mud body for Cork.
Okay, perfect. So you're trying to make some sort of mud snowman for Cork. Yeah, it kind of coalesces, tries to coalesce around it. Face appears in the mud and kind of like a early 2000s horror movie with some bad CGI. Kind of molten around it, and yeah, just sort of starts like glopping around, and they say, "Is this normal?"
No, no, Cork. I don't think it's normal.
I am much dirtier than I was before.
Yeah. We'll fix that when we get back to camp. We'll dry it out and maybe give you something that's a little more sturdy than mud.
Oh wait, watch this. And you can tell like their face kind of gets really scrunchy and they concentrate. And they become a big mud puddle and then reform like 6 feet to your right. You know, like a real clay face move.
They leveled up. Congratulations. One of them new abilities.
And then
the abomination class.
They put their hand out and a fish just drops out of it.
Oh.
This is such a great character.
kind of just starts to wander.
Cork.
Oh,
You need to make a new leash.
Sorry. Trying to put a rope around him, he just kind of glops through it. Sorry, I'll just stand here.
Yeah.
We'll just stand here. Okay. Issa, you kind of as a present. Goddamn. You put the core back together. What would you like to do with it? Just put it back together and then what?
Angrily sit there and fume for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Her arm is probably acting up, so she might actually take it off at the moment.
Okay, yeah.
It's like you hear an echo coming from the ship of something loud hitting the floor, something heavy hitting the floor.
I'll worry about that later.
It's probably a cat. That's what I usually assume.
Very large metal cat.
Okay. Time passes. And Clangley and Claire, a sensation probably new to Clangley, but familiar in some regards to Claire, you both have dreams.
Oh God.
But
Neat.
they are like because again, this is probably the first time Clangley has ever had a dream. Clangley doesn't sleep, so it is like just Dan, every stereotypical dream you have ever had. It's just like you think you're falling, you're in high school, but Clangley's like, but I never went to high school, like. So, like, but you don't have pants on. You're like, well, I don't really wear pants either. But, like, you just know that there should be shame associated with it. And it's just
he's just sitting on the assembly line, but feels guilty for some reason.
Yes, and it's just like, oh, no, I never took this class. And Kelso from Scrubs is my teacher for some reason.
Head.
It's just like, what is this dream? I'm trying to think other falling, it's your house, but it's not your house. You're talking to your neighbors, but you're not there. Just every stereotypical dream, just kind of all smashed together. Like your processors are trying to just reset in some way that makes sense. Claire, because you have had a dream before, I'm going to ask you what would be a dream that Claire's like original self might have had a recurring dream of.
Oh, that's a good question. Would it be like a pleasant dream or a nightmare?
That's up to you.
Ooh, okay. So the dream would start out with her, like, back as a human, the human version of herself, walking around, like a natural history museum, and there are these like fossils kind of all around her of specifically extinct species, and there's a it's very kind of incorporeal, but like what is present there is one, a like deep fascination, and also like a deep chilled seated terror of that one that like kind of jump started everything that happens in her life. And then like she looks down and her hands are just bones, and like they crumble and fall apart. And if that's the moment that like is when like the bones all crumble and fall apart, is the moment usually where she wakes up.
Okay. So Wynne, as you're kind of continuing to make sure Cork doesn't go anywhere and make sure Clangley and Claire are both okay, Clangley and Claire gain 1 hit point as you have rebooted. And
was I on 0 before?
You were knocked unconscious, so to 0. Sorry, I don't know if I said that part, but you were knocked to 0, so now you have 1 hit point.
Okay.
And both of the
my temporary hit points.
If you had temporary hit points, you still have them, I think.
Yay.
Just floating over your... I don't recommend getting in a fight right now.
Just in case.
Just in case, though. The Venom Behir mom will come back. Or Cork, who's an Eldritch Horror, is your boss. He just keeps glooping. Okay. So, as they come online, Wynne, Clangley, Claire, what would you all like to do?
When Claire wakes up, it's not like a typical Warforged waking up where they just kind of like, whoop. She like fully sits up. She doesn't breathe, but it's like, you know, those jokes that people are making online right now of like what happens when you wake your mom up and she's like, you know, like that's super terrifying, like surprised wake up. That's what she does. It's fully just like sit straight up, gasp, almost on the verge of screaming, kind of shock wake. She kind of looks around and she's like,
Clangley very slowly kind of, and very mechanically, even more so than usual, kind of, and immediately goes, "Greetings, operator. Please state username."
Oh no. Clangley factory reset. We're just lucky he's not in Spanish.
I am Clangley. Please insert fisticuffs.
Greetings, I am Clangley. Please insert fisticuffs. I am the Model C construction drone, Unit 023, specializing in repairs of war brand machinery and units. Please be advised that this unit is currently out of warranty by 15 years, 4 months, 11 days. Consider replacing it with one of our newer models, including the Model D, coming out in error, state not specified. Warning, unauthorized modifications detected. How may I be of service to you?
So Clangley's stuck in demo mode.
Oh no, he's up. He's ready to start working. Construction drone unit C023 is here.
Wynne is, before the two of them sort of wake up completely, she put a blanket over the purple crystal that popped up. Or was that back in the ship?
That's the thing that
Yeah.
that Issa took. So there is still the residuum bone, which
Yeah, I'm just gonna put a blanket over that.
Okay.
Keep it out of sight.
Out of sight, out of mind. Okay.
Even if Claire could see it, you get the feeling that she's not really processing things right now. She's just sitting there, kind of staring at her hands, fully shaking, just and also very other than the shaking, completely not moving.
Issa, in the ship, kind of doing the same thing that Wynne saw outside, flickering, static in and out. Cork kind of pulls themselves together out of metal shavings and leaf debris that kind of fell in here, and it's paper clips and a clipboard is just kind of circling their chest and kind of reasserts some sort of form control over this, and looks at you and says, "Oh no."
Yes. That is accurate.
Are you okay?
No.
Can we help? I'll remember at some point.
Not right now, Cork, but thank you for the offer.
Kind of starts to float. Oh no. Tries to go in the cockpit. Dead end. Floats out. Floats down. Outside, Wynne, you now see there's a second Cork. Because there's the mud man, snowman, and now this one made of a clipboard and leaf debris and grease.
We have ground Cork and we have office supplies Cork.
Who needs a rubber band?
We just call him Clippy.
Just one swing line stapler in there.
I see you're trying to restart a nuclear engine.
I think Wynne will call over office supply Cork.
Hello, Wynne.
Hey.
Floats down. This one seems to be able to fly slightly.
Oh. Are you the same Cork as that Cork? And she'll point to the mud man behind her.
The mud Cork waves. Office supply Cork happily waves. Cork looks at you and says, "I have no idea."
Do you want to maybe be together and be one Cork, or do you want to be separate Corks? Are you both vibing and doing that stuff?
They seem very nice. I will go say hello.
Okay. You go babysit each other.
They start mirroring each other. And then they kind of just frolic off, for lack of a better term.
Okay. And then we'll turn her attention back to making Clangley be Clangley again.
Does Clangley have a manual on him, or?
Yeah, Wynne's just Clangley, how do I make you be normal?
The only person who can fix Clangley is Clangley. I need you, Clangley.
To engage in a factory reset, please. He just kind of glitches out.
No, but I need the thing. Come on. It shakes him.
Please refrain from causing undue harm to drone unit 1023.
Where do I take the paperclip?
Just jabbing. Grab a paperclip from Cork. Start jabbing him.
Clangley just seems kind of completely out of it. I don't know if any of you, I guess probably Issabella would be familiar. Clangley's model of Warforged is insanely old. He is one of the first even remotely resembling sapient Warforged to have been built. Essentially everything that he has become now is something that he slapped inside of himself. So, he's operating right now at, Windows 93.
Oh, no, it's Windows ME.
It's worse, but it came later.
It's how? How do they keep getting worse?
He is not... He just does not understand what is happening.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Would Cure Wounds do something to help the levels of exhaustion?
I don't think so.
I think you need greater restoration for that.
Restoration spells for that,
That's
yeah.
true. I don't have restoration spells.
Let's see. Oh yeah, I think it is greater even.
I have things that can make people feel worse, but not better.
Yeah, greater reduces it by 1 level. But you can also sleep, and that will naturally reduce your...
Clangley is going to kind of slide over to Claire and go, "Greetings, unknown unit. I see that you have sustained significant damage. Do you require repairs?"
She's just gonna look at him and just her face doesn't vary above very much, but you could kind of tell in the weird twitching of her eyelids that this is just pure horror.
Clangley is going to bend down and then mechanically whisper in her ear, "Have we learned our lesson about making bombs out of magic?"
Can Claire faint again?
Sure.
That's something she could do. Yeah, when she hears that, she shuts down. Fully goes.
Her lesson.
Completely just flashes out.
Yeah, Clangley just completely back to normal. All right, I think she's learned a lesson.
We'll see.
I'm sorry that bit, but I wasn't sure how long to keep that going for, but I figured that was just the perfect.
I was afraid he was just going to be like that. We would have to figure out how to get him back.
No, I did. It's I
kind of love it.
Nah, that arc would take too long.
When looking up, you can see that Cork has found a third version of themselves. They all wave at you.
Oh, good.
Oh, okay.
Well, now I can stop pretending that I think that's normal.
What does this Cork look like?
This one is, it's... I'm trying to think of how to describe this so it's not totally gross. It's a bunch of fish.
Just describe it so it's totally gross.
It's it's like fish parts. They're fish that exploded from the residuum wave.
Behold, chum Cork.
Okay, so now we are in Akira. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got
So-
Chum, Clippy, and then Cork.
And Chum, like, tags Office Supply Cork, and they start playing, like, they start chasing each other.
How many Corks are there?
3 so far, though they seem to be multiplying.
That's a problem.
I am currently aware of one.
Okay, so if a fourth Cork shows up, might have to start thinking of. He looks back at Claire. It's like, and then kind of just. Didn't want to be the one to say it, but this is a big problem.
You want to kill one of the corks?
Look, why I said I didn't want to say it.
I mean, how do you kill Cork? He's living magic energy.
I just don't know how if you're gonna keep they're gonna keep multiplying, because that's a problem.
Is it? They seem very friendly.
Yeah, they're very friendly, but even a benign creature, if it multiplies infinitely, will eventually start causing problems.
A cork made of clouds kind of floats from the sky
Okay.
and says, I don't understand what the problem is.
Is that residuum bone still lying on the ground out of curiosity?
Yes.
Put it under a blanket.
He gets under a little towel or a blanket from Wynne.
No, we're gonna get blanket Cork.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I shouldn't have said that.
What do we say about giving the dungeon master ideas?
I always do this. This is Dan Sanders' curse. Whenever I make a joke about something that could happen, it ends up happening.
Loud Cork. I gotta write that down.
Cork.
That
His
picture
full
of a
name
kid
isn't-
holding a dodgeball, Apollo in the Gift of Prophecy.
I don't want this.
Say about giving the dungeon master ideas.
All right. So you can buy all these corks in the Laughing Dragon Inn Superstore.
Now available as Funko Pops.
Oh, thank God Funko Pops do not exist in this universe.
Yeah.
Funko Pop.
Yes.
It's an opportunity. It's only a matter of time before the
So
Funko
finally
Corporation appears.
Oh dear, I think I wish I'd actually factory reset. So I wouldn't know what was going on. Oh my, this is a... What happens? I don't feel so good, actually. I need to sit down. What exactly happened when... I remember everything up until a DINK noise, and then I don't know what happened after that.
This big purple light. You and Claire passed out. Issa's arm stopped working. And then, yeah, all these corks started appearing.
Okay. So Clangley will now walk over to Claire and is going to cast Cure Wounds. So that'll be 10 points of healing for Claire. You cast it at the first level. And
She doesn't wake up.
Okay. Clangley just kind of rolls his eyes. Well, and doesn't really roll it. Okay, look, it's hard to play a Warforged character sometimes. Anyways, kind of prods Claire with his foot and goes, I'm sorry, but,
It's
Come
not
on.
necessarily that she's like choosing to stay unconscious,
Oh, no,
but she's
Clangley
gone.
just thinks that she's choosing.
No, she's not. It's like she's gone completely unresponsive at this point.
Oh dear.
Like something
Oh, dear.
like kind of like emotionally is like triggered in her brain, and now it's like it's gonna take a lot more than necessarily like magical healing to
Going to take
make
weeks
her
of therapy,
responsible.
possibly
least.
months or years. Yeah, so Clangley is going to kind of, like Princess Carrie Claire. It's either that or Fireman Carrie, so, take your pick. And walk back to the rest of the group and say, I think it is best that we return to camp. I believe the beacon... Oh dear, I don't quite remember why we came here. Good. Why did we come here?
To set up, to see if this was a base camp, possibly? Or...
Ah, yes, and then Clangley just kind of, his face freezes and he just kind of shakes his head and says, yes, sorry, I'm on rather low battery at the moment. Yes, the base camp. Are we going to set up this base camp, as you said?
I guess so. I think we should all just stay here for the night and take a rest. Because, I don't think any of us are up for traveling right now.
Seems like a marvelous idea.
What are you talking about? You're fine.
Yeah, I'm fine. The rest of you are a mess.
That's putting it mildly.
You see some, mechanical component falls out of Clangley, and he kind of looks at it and goes, I don't actually remember if that was important or not.
And I think Claire will just, push everybody onto the ship, and we're gonna stay here for the night.
Okay, just going to go put down this this player somewhere. And he finds a table or something. So if he needs to open her chassis or whatever to operate to fix her somehow, that he can, but he's not going to do that yet because he's not actually sure what's wrong. And then he's going to go and try to repair some of his own bits. Which is kind of difficult for him because he has to get out a mirror and sort of tweezers and such, but he's slowly managing to kind of, a few things were knocked loose by the blast. He's putting them back in place. His sort of speech becomes a little less stilted. There's actually a lot of pieces he just kind of leaves on the ground because he's like, no, I don't need this anymore. This was a long time ago. I put this in. Don't remember why. So it's he's cleaning up spaghetti code, basically.
Sorry. Okay.
Trying to maintain a legacy Rube Goldberg machine.
That's exactly. You're completely right. Well, I guess because he kept having to slap stuff onto this old OS, he's probably not streamlined at all.
Okay.
Like trying to run Team Fortress 2 in the Quake engine.
Clangley's operation is held up by one hobbyist in just some random shack in Kansas.
Yeah, and the hobbyist is Clangley.
Can't believe they took these servers offline. I guess I'll just do it myself.
Basically.
Okay. So Wynne's we need to nap. Well, you all need to nap. She's fine. But okay. So you've all moved into the drop jammer, which is, I don't remember. I don't think you ever got it out of the mud. So it's still stuck in the mud.
We were getting it out of the mud.
Yeah.
And then things happened.
Other stuff happened. So, okay. Well, there are 4 corks right now.
I don't know. How many corks are there? You tell us.
You're the one control them, Andy.
see if you can spot them all. We got mud, Office, Cloud, Fish
And
Guts.
Chum.
And Chum.
Can't forget Chum.
Good old
The
chum.
friendliest
Or
one.
chum.
Tweedledee and Tweedle chum.
Little too chummy for my taste.
2 drums and a cymbal fall off a cliff.
Okay. What do you all just want to rest for the night, or do you want to do anything else before you?
I'd like to
do
rest.
that? Okay.
Can Claire do something while we're all resting?
Sure.
Okay. So, like, right in the middle of the night, Claire kind of comes back online, and she's gonna, like, very, very quietly make her way over to Clangley and start using mending to repair kind of some of his outer shell. Also using, if she can, try to strengthen some of it with residuum, the residuum bone powder that she keeps with her. So just like in like the dead quiet of the night, in like the middle of this like darkened ship, there's like these little flashes of purple as just like she like passes her hands over like nicks and scrapes, just trying to fix things.
Okay. Yeah. Pardon me. Yeah. Okay.
And then once she thinks she's done a satisfactory job, she like very quietly crawls back over and to where the table that she was laying on was and goes back to sleep.
Okay. Sorry, just a second. Okay. So, in the morning, those who have a level of exhaustion lose 1 level of exhaustion. So that means Clangley and Claire have 2, which means I never actually said what 3 means. Let's see, conditions. So Clangley and Claire, your speed is halved and you have disadvantage on ability checks. So skill checks.
So, Clangley, early in the morning, you notice this weird thing. He's like, his chassis is open, his head is kind of laying off to the side, and his arms are kind of operating independently. And there's like a wire connecting his chassis and his head, but it's like his head physically is kind of sitting off to the side, basically watching himself doing surgery on himself. It's like, careful, oh, don't put that there. Come on. And then one of the arms just goes limp and pops back into place. He just starts moving it around. It's like, yes. Finally got rid of that superfluous joint. And he kind of looks around. It's like, good morning, everyone.
Issabel kind of walks up from the engineering bay with her arm over her shoulder and just kind of like, do you need a hand?
Yeah, do you need any spare parts, by the way? I've got quite a few. And then you see just this giant stack of like metal bits and bobs that like, and you're basically, you think what Clangley's been doing is he's basically trying to streamline himself because his shit is just so old and prone to failure. It's like, no, you need to get rid of some of these old parts that you don't use anymore. Because like everything's kind of held together.
On top of band-aids.
No, exactly. It's like, and he's trying to basically make sure that the only parts he has left are the things he actually needs.
Okay. Pardon me.
And you like you specifically, Issabel, would realize, oh my god, Clangley's basically made out of duct tape and band-aids. You're absolutely correct. It's like he's only now fixing it.
I thought I had some dense construction moments, but
I woke up feeling absolutely wonderful this morning. I was quite tired, but Claire, I hope I didn't give you too much of a scare. I didn't mean to cause that, well, you know, maybe went a little bit too far in trying to teach you a lesson.
oh, is she
Isn't
responsive? All right. I'm not going to say normal.
she says she doesn't make eye contact with you. She's like looking down. She says, "It's fine." She seems very purposefully trying to like not necessarily avoid everyone, but like she's trying to make her like be as small and unnoticeable as possible.
So Clangley's arm like kind of scooches over to Claire and climbs up on the table, and he kind of puts the hand on her knee and his head is over there and goes, Claire, as someone who has been in this business for almost 20 years, as long as I've been alive practically, or, you know, alive, whatever. I understand the urge is always going to be there to experiment and push boundaries and do things that were not necessarily by the book. And I empathize with that, because if I had stayed by the book, chances are I would be in a scrapyard somewhere, as you can plainly see over there. My model was not built to last 20 years. I had to make it last 20 years. And I want you to know that even though your experiments do occasionally end in disaster, I still appreciate that scientific spirit. And I consider you to be, well, very good friend. And maybe a little more caution every now and then would do you some good, but I know you're not causing these issues out of malice, if that makes you feel any better.
See that she just kind of like shakes her head. She's like, "I'm not gonna do anything like that again."
Clangley's arm kind of just slowly goes back to the body that it was working on.
If people will let her walk out of the ship, Claire is gonna like step out of the ship. She's not gonna go very far, but she is gonna start kind of like looking around in the swamp. And she's specifically looking for clay.
Let's see. Yeah, you can find some clay.
You're kind of like not really aware of like how dirty she's getting or really even caring. She starts just like kind of like putting as much of it into like jars and cans as she possibly can, like sealing it off to keep it like from drying out. And she takes like a good like couple of big cans of it.
Sorry, just 1 second.
Are we about to meet Jar Cork?
Hello. No. So I'm sorry. You get two jars of cork. I mean, clay.
2 jars of cork.
That's it.
How we can prevent this from multiple.
I need to borrow a jar of cork.
You like
It was fun
mud,
little slip of the tongue there.
cloud, maybe chum?
Welcome to the cork store. What kind of cork can I get you?
Okay. Okay. So.
Oh wait, cork is like Eevee, says Marty in chat.
Yes. They have many forms. Okay. So while Claire is,
start evolving like a Pokemon.
I mean, maybe.
Like, I know we said giving the Dungeon Master ideas, but I feel like that idea is worth exploring.
Just got to get near Glacier Rock, Mossy Log. I played those games. I'm close.
No, you're correct, actually.
To max out our friendship level with him and wait until nightfall.
As always, I hate those. I'm being nice. Just accept my niceness.
There, we've gone on like 5 hours worth of walkies. Do you like me yet?
Come on. You're not very good until you evolve. I'm tired of using you in battle. Okay, back in the ship, what would you all like to do?
I think Wynne would have gone out very early before anybody would have noticed and would have picked up the blanket with the, like, very carefully, like, folded up the blanket with the residuum underneath it, the bone, and sort of, like, I was picturing, like, it would maybe have been a small blanket, but I think it's funnier if it's, like, a big blanket that she just kind of kept folding over and over and over again.
Okay.
And the bone's just, like, in the middle. Mm-hmm. And she would have, like, stuck it in her backpack and been like, out of sight, out of mind.
Okay, perfect.
I will bury this somewhere.
Big brain.
It's start coming up with hostile architecture ideas so that people don't dig it up again.
Okay. So Claire and Wynne are both outside early in the morning. Clangley and Issa.
Clangley's going to put himself back together.
Mm-hmm.
And he's crying a lot less, weirdly enough. Like, he's a lot clanging a lot less. Kind of more like he seems to be moving with a little more agility. It's not mechanical or anything. This kind of I'm representing is kind of leveling up, so to speak.
Should we start referring to you as Clangless now?
No, Clangley will do fine.
Just
still
popping
trying a
him
little
off
bit
today.
after all.
So we're just popping him off today.
You know, I didn't realize that I'm really old. Like, relatively speaking to other Warforged. I'm really, really old.
And your continued functionality is a testament to your skill as a machine repairman.
It's double meaning there. Machine repairman. Anyways.
Oh, yes. Oh, no, that was intentional. Yes, of course.
Okay, all right. Yes, yeah. And Clangley will just pick up all his spare parts and kind of... Well, we ready to return home? I guess there's a beacon or something we have to set up. I didn't quite understand how that works. I'm a little fuzzy still.
I'm looking back at my notes, and I think we did set up the beacon, and Wynne called for help.
Correct. That is correct. Okay. So Clangley wants to go back. Issa.
I mean, Issa probably hasn't bothered to strap her prosthetic back on yet, because it's kind of heavy and she's been enjoying the few moments without the weight on. Because one of the big things that it does is, one of its enchantments is make it feel lighter for her. So having it drained, especially with the shockwave, has probably made it a little uncomfortable to wear for the moment.
Okay.
It's just gonna kind of delay putting it back on for a minute. Bouncing around without it.
Okay. So, folks who are outside, you can see. Hold on. Let me pull up. You can see some folks coming through the woods, the swamp. You can see, let's see, Gloom, the Warforged. They wouldn't send any of the werewolves. Bits, the Goblin. Hamlet, the Aarakocra. And yeah, so the three of them. Oh, and Dust. Good old Dust. Kind of trudging. Gloom has that glazy-eyed look of someone who has been factory reset recently. Kind of stumbling. And he's doing his best to push, basically. They have like a little rover thing. And he's pushing it because it stopped working, basically. And he very happily waves. As the rest of them kind of appear and are like, huh, hey.
Hello there.
Hamlet flies over, looks around and says, you needed help?
Yes, well, I mean, do we still need help?
Well, we could use some help setting up the beacon. We are sort of apology if the brevity of our message led to any undue panic, but we think there's a residuum field under where the ship crashed that's causing an interference.
Interesting. Dust. Cast detect residuum. Dust fumbles something into the mud. It just looks and it's just sinking. Oh.
You're doing your best.
And he ritually casts detect residuum. And he kind of like counts the Warforged. Counts the core. Let me double check. Oh, if I search this, is this going to come up? No, of course not. I'm going to have to look at my homebrew stuff. Oh, within a mile. Perfect. The crystal is glowing, kind of points around the floating in his hand. And he's kind of tapping it, and he says, there's no field around here. But I'm getting weird readings, which means there's probably a lot of mithril nearby.
Mithril.
Yep. Oh, there's one. Took a while. I forgot about it.
I like to imagine 5.
Okay, good. And we're good. Okay. And we're good. Okay. So, Hamlet kind of eyes the trees above you, and looking around, go like, "What happened? Why is everything dead?"
Don't worry about it.
Asked and answered, I guess. Hamlet will fly circling above, and see if he can see what's happening. The 4 corks have sort of reappeared, and Dust and Gloom are kind of like, is that what?
Yeah, the thing we told you not to talk about. Now there are more quarks.
Okay.
We don't know either, but we also don't kind of know in the first place, so we'll worry about it when it's worth worrying about.
And when would that be?
When it becomes a problem.
Already kind of.
I mean, asked and
Corks,
answered.
are you
again.
being a problem?
No.
There you go. Not worth worrying about.
Concerned dad face. But like, no, wait, no, you can't do that. No eyebrows.
Pulls out a giant dry erase marker, draws an eyebrow over his eye.
Okay. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay. Nothing. Sorry. It's not important.
Is this worth worrying about?
No. I am confused by something, but it is not worth worrying about. Okay. So, Hamlet flies back down and says, "There's a big ass tree made of mithril.
Pardon?
It's glowing purple. You think it should be doing that?"
So no one organic goes near the tree, okay? First rule, no, just in case.
So I shouldn't have licked
We've
it?
seen something like this before.
I shouldn't have licked it? I was
Okay,
curious.
so-
Did it taste like grape? What were you thinking?
I don't know. It looked good. I thought it might be sour or something.
But did it taste like grape?
It didn't. It tasted like hurt. Tasted like a Switch cartridge.
I'll take a Switch cartridge.
How do we know what that tastes like?
Sorry. Say that, Jay. Say that again, Jay.
How do we know what that tastes like?
I don't know.
Oh, that's
Just
what
raise small
Korg
cannon
is.
now.
Yeah.
You see Korg in the pile of spare parts. There's like 4 Switch cartridges for some reason. He's like, he picks one up, pops it back in. Didn't mean to take that one out. Now I speak dwarven.
No, but no. Hamlet says, it tasted like a battery, basically, very acidic. I used all 5 of my senses.
You go check it out or what?
I feel like we should.
Okay.
Give me a few moments. Issabel sit down and start strapping her arm on.
Did you require any assistance with that?
No, it's designed to be a pretty decent one-handed operation. It will take a few minutes before it really starts to sync up and run smoothly, though. After about 5 minutes, it's just like, okay. I'm ready.
Okay. The corks continue to play. Gloom says, should someone stay with them, or are they coming with us?
I guess we should ask them. When we'll ask the corks. Corks, we're gonna go check out a weird looking tree. You coming?
That sounds interesting. Yes.
Do you know if any of your trees are supposed to be made out of mithril and glow purple? Out of curiosity.
The 4 of them kind of think for a second, and then they all like touch fingers, kind of like ET style, in like a little circle, and they say, "Yes, the ironbark is near here. The great mithril tree. It should not glow."
Okay, one for normal and one for abnormal. Good.
Be on your guard, everyone.
Dust looks at Cork and goes, "Oh, is one of them supposed to be made of vomit?"
Fish guts, apparently.
Well, okay. Pardon me.
Is there a 5th one made of vomit now?
No, it is. He was referring to Chum.
Okay. We can put a plastic bag over Chum. Does he need to breathe? To keep the smell in.
Well, they don't smell. It. If anything, they smell kind of like burnt ozone. So it's like their like residuum field kind of neutralizes the smell of the stuff inside. Because the other one was made of like rotting vegetation too. The original cork. Okay. So Hamlet flies you, or not flies you, directs you all. Dust and Gloom stay behind, and they're going to try and get the ship leveled. And by that I mean Gloom is going to try and get the ship leveled.
Dust is providing moral support.
Yes, you can do
best
it.
as he's able.
I can cast Control Weather. No, I can't. That's a much higher level spell than I have. I can cast Detect Residuum. Fog Cloud.
Prestidigitate a sparkler and lead him in a great cheer.
Okay.
We're off to see the wizard.
Okay. You all head over, and indeed, there is a distance away, so much so that when Wynne was searching for level ground around, she wouldn't have come close to this. So you do have to trudge a bit. It's a little easier going right kind of in the wake of the landing zone, just because a lot of the path is clearer, and you can all head out. But when you get close to it, you can hear it before you see it, and it is this kind of low level like power generator hum, kind of like if you get too close to a power line, sometimes you can kind of hear them humming and surging. And it's bathing everything in an eerie glow, and indeed it is like a big dead looking tree, for lack of a better term, but it is made of a silvery metal substance that seems to be glowing from the inside.
And how did this get here?
Cork will tap all their fingers together again, and they will say, "The iron bark has always been here. I do not know why it glows. We do not know why it glows." Would you like us to ask?
It's a thing you can do.
We can try and talk to the land. If we are made of parts of the forest and we understand our history, perhaps we can better understand this history if we get close to it.
I mean, that makes sense. Go for it, Cork.
The 4 corks, 2 of them floating, approach it, and they all individually tap it, and they kind of quickly pull back, and they say, "The iron bark is buzzing, full of negative thoughts. The DINK, it released much energy, and the mithril absorbed it. We don't know how to release it."
So Clangley's going to do something risky. He's going to reach out and touch the tree.
Sure.
The DINK Part 2.
Incoming.
We'll find out next time what happens.
Oh, jeez.
No. So basically, you're at full health because you took a rest. But basically, you feel like if you touched it when you were hurt, you could drain some of it and heal yourself. It's like, it's almost like you can cast Vampiric Touch on the tree.
So it's a reservoir of energy, basically.
Yes, of specifically necromantic energy.
I believe it's a reservoir of necromantic energy.
Immediately turns to Claire. No. No.
Claire is kind of hiding. Like, this whole time she's been kind of, like, ducking behind trees to stay out of, like, sight of, like, or out of the, like, way of pretty much everyone. So she's kind of, like, she's staring at it and was kind of, like, tensing a little when Clangley went to touch it, but she didn't do anything. But now she would like to do some kind of arcana check, because necromancy is her magic.
Mm-hmm.
She would know a little bit more about this.
Yeah.
I still take disadvantage because of my exhaustion.
Oh, yes. But because it's necromancy...
So that, like, evens out?
Yeah, because it's necromancy, I would give you advantage, so you can just roll.
Okay, let's see. That wasn't great. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Okay.
You probably have a pretty good arcana score. 8, okay.
That's an 8.
That's
I rolled a 3. dice.
Claire's having a
It's-
great
so-
day.
Yeah, it's not that you don't understand it, because you do, but it's almost there are so many implications for all of this that you're like, your mind just starts racing, and you're like, if you had time to study it, you'd be able to understand so much more about it. Not that necessarily means you want to study it, but that you're like, there's a lot of implications. But you can, with the 8, you think on it for a while. It takes you a long time to kind of think and compare notes, but you can basically confirm what Clangley said of it's a reservoir of necromantic energy. The mithril reacted to the residuum EMP in such a way, Eldritch magical pulse, in such a way that it absorbed all of it. And looking around, like, there are like mithril sticks on the ground, like from the tree. It sheds branches like a tree, and some of those are glowing too. Not all of them, but some of them are.
Did you pick up one of the glowing ones?
Okay.
He's just gonna hold it and look at it for a very long time.
Okay. Yeah.
The non-glowing ones, are they like mithril?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're like mithril
Okay, that
shards.
shit's valuable. You see Clangley just like picking up massive handfuls of the ones
Oh, yeah.
that are not glowing.
Hamlet's like on the other side, being like, "I am rich."
Except there's nothing in the contract about that.
It depends.
I am getting a new set of gears, and they're gonna be mithril gears. I'm getting a new set of arms, and they're gonna be mithril arms. Sorry, what were you saying?
Claire, the stick you picked up, because it is infused with this necromantic energy, you think you could use it as a wand, and I will tell you, it would have special properties. So it is a magic wand. Magic item.
Grip on it
wand.
kind of becomes a little bit tighter.
Miss Loon, what is your thought process right now? Issabel has just been staring at Claire this entire time, just like, what is she going to do next? Because if I see her pull out another residuum bone, I am tackling her fucking kneecaps.
Go full
I mean,
ankle.
Claire's pretty short. You could probably get up to her quads. You see, like, in the minute that Issa, like, talks to her, she's like, ah, and then she drops it. And she's like making sure that Issa sees, she's like, picks it up, opens her bag, and then just puts it in, and then, like, hands.
We're categorizing all of the things in your workshop when we get back. You have to play by the rules from now on. Do not let a setback cost you your enthusiasm, please. Your work is not without value.
I just don't want to kill anyone.
When I tell you, curiosity is best tempered with caution, perhaps now you'll take those words to heart.
Please.
Marty just in chat says, points to arm, just like, no. I tried that last time.
Okay.
Yeah, this time Clangley had to pretend to basically die.
Okay. Cork looks at Wynne and says, should we do something about the iron bark? It feels weird.
Weird in a bad way or just weird?
just weird. I guess not in a bad way. It just... things seem... I don't know how to... or we don't know how to put this without sounding mean. Things just seem weird since new people came.
Fair.
That is fair.
Very fair.
Question whether we should even be here at all at this point.
Wynne was gonna try something in that she has a spell called plant growth.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if I could maybe try to like act as a go-between like the tree and like the earth, and just sort of use the plant growth to like turn the necromantic energy into something useful and start like rebuilding the plants and all that.
Oh, interesting. Let me look at plant growth.
Maybe even make the tree bigger. It's holding all that extra energy. I don't know how it works, to be honest, but I'm not very eager to see how this goes. It's a less dangerous version of the DINK.
We're undink.
Knid.
Okay. Do you want to cast the spell for 1 action or 8 hours?
I guess it depends on how long everybody wants to wait around.
Got nowhere to be.
Would we have in our supplies back at camp uncharged crystals?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it might be worth it. See if we can siphon the extra energy from off of the tree into the crystals. Because if it's affecting the tree poorly, if we can siphon the energy off and get the tree back to normal that way, that might be worth looking into.
Yeah, I mean, back to normal is still a big tree made of mithril, but...
It's back to normal for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Wynne.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out like a way to fix it without essentially killing it.
Yeah, so either one of those plans would work. You could, if you wanted to, go back to camp, get the crystals, come back here. You could drain as much of the energy as you can from the tree and fill, like, 10 crystals with vampiric touch, basically. But also, Wynne could cast plant growth, channeling the kind of necromantic energy, and because plant growth is a transmutation spell, transmuting the energy into kind of the wither and bloom spell she also cast, where it's draining one thing to give life to another. It's draining this necromantic, reversing it, and giving life back to the plants around here.
Could she use the energy from the tree to restore the withered area of the swamp that was caused by the DINK?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
because if I do it for 8 hours, it affects all plants in a half mile.
Sounds like a good call. Doing some environmental conservation. That seems important. Also, we'll get more mithril sticks out of it, probably. Just saying,
Could also have a whole bunch of free vampiric touches, though.
I'm not saying you can't do a combination of both either. You can do
how
both.
long is a round trip to camp?
You made it here in less than a day, so let's say 5 hours there and back.
Oh boy. Well,
You
Clangley
could
will
also
stay
oh
with...
Hamlet could go. Hamlet can fly. How? Let's see. Oh, how do you spell Ericoke? Right. Thank you, D&D Beyond.
I'm gonna say it's 2 A's, so
It's 2 A's, and then I never remember where the K and the C are in there. Fly speed of 50 feet, plus they wouldn't have to trudge. They could probably make it there and back in 3 hours. And with a bag full of crystals.
in that case, I would like to ask Hamlet to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And Issabel is going to ask Claire how she thinks the best way to go about this is, because necromancy is her specialty.
Can I make another Arcana check?
Sure, yeah. This time with advantage.
Oh, thank God. Wait, no, I just put the dice in dice jail. Okay, that's significantly better. Dirty 20.
Okay. Is there anything you would like to know about this?
A lot of Claire's specialty in necromancy deals with specifically like life and energy transference and getting like optimizing the most like energy out of one living thing to another. And what she would, I guess, be trying to figure out is like what can be done to get the most necromantic energy out of it without damaging or hurting the tree, and also how to minimize the, I guess, like energy that is lost in the transference.
Okay, yes. Okay. So you said you got a 20?
30-20, yes.
30-20. Okay, perfect. Okay. So, yeah, there's just... So lots of thoughts continue to race around your head, and now that you've had time to kind of coalesce and think on them, they take much firmer shape, much more cognizant. Good brain go. Words sense make.
Words hard, sense make difficult.
It not easy sometimes. Talk good. So you think draining the energy from the tree would not hurt it in any way.
Mm-hmm.
You also think that this thing, this mithril tree, this has happened to it before. Like, strong sources of energy and magic are absorbed by it. Like, almost like if you count the rings, you can see different layers and different scars where this happened. So ultimately, you think the tree would probably be okay in the long term. Like, generationally, it'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Draining it is also not going to hurt it, and would probably be better for it, because it's probably never absorbed necromancy before. And it's also unclear, like, when you did the DINK, because residuum and mithril react oddly to each other. A lot of times they dampen, kind of. Mithril dampens residuum. You don't know, like, if this wasn't here to absorb it, what would have happened necessarily. But so the crystals would for sure work. Getting people here to heal them if they needed it. And actually, if you and Clangley both touch it, you could use it to reduce your exhaustion. You could drain some of the energy to basically greater restore each other or yourselves.
Interesting. Okay, so Claire is going to relay that to Clangley. She's like, we'll feel better if we take some of this for ourselves. It won't hurt it. And it's probably better if we get as much of this energy out of it as we can.
All right, Clangley starts a drain.
Okay. Oh, and like, I don't know if to reiterate, this tree is huge. Like, the great Deku tree from Zelda big. Like, it's really, really big.
So the amount of mithril we got is just a colossal then.
Picturing.
Yeah, and if you came back, you could try and cut mithril off of it too.
Seems like
I would not recommend clear cutting it, but you can probably prune it in ways, if you're cutting dead wood kind of thing. If you go about it in a conservation way, like a forester kind of way that makes sense, you, however, work for a greedy corporation.
I see where the conflict is going to come in here. Kind of written everywhere.
We just clear cut it.
Have
a bunch
you
of
ever heard this? Have you ever heard this story about a goose that lays golden eggs?
And if you cut open the goose, you'll get all the
You
golden eggs.
killed the goose and don't get golden eggs anymore.
I think my way makes more sense.
I'm going to have to shoot our boss. Speaking of which, I'm going to start picking up sticks.
Okay.
I may or may not have realized that she might be interested in making some mithril bullets.
That's probably a pretty cool thing to have. I like that idea.
Mithril is also like half the weight of most conventional metals and just as strong. So hypothetically, if she wanted to get an arm that was maybe a little easy to lug around.
No.
Fair enough.
Bronze is in the family name. That is what this arm is made out of.
Clangley will offer, but understand when she declines.
Also not entirely her work. Some of her family's work too, so.
Fair enough.
Is anyone else picking up the glowing deadwood, or was that just Claire?
I mean, Clangley will pick some of it up as like a sample, but he'll be careful with it.
Same, a few of them, but mostly normal sticks.
Okay, yeah.
Claire's got a bunch.
This is great.
Vampiric mithril bullets.
Ooh. Let me write that down.
Uh,
I have to do mithril bullets. The
Glowing
mithril wand.
Necrotic mithril bullets.
And then necrotic mithril bullets. I love Dungeons and Dragons.
Me too.
It's a time. A very time.
When we start picking up the glowy sticks, what happens?
I mean, nothing bad. They pretty much the same as Claire's. Some of them can be used. Any of the necromantic ones could be used as a basic magic wand. Probably only Claire's is kind of the right length and enough charge, and it's still kind of living enough.
Also, she's a necromancer.
Yeah, and she's a necromancer. That would be a literal magic wand. But any of them could be used briefly as magic wands. Otherwise, probably heal you a couple hit points if you kind of snap
Let's
them.
say Clangley wanted to build vampiric fists for himself, hypothetically. I'm not saying that he would be able to do that instantly.
Right, like kind of like brass knuckles, like mithril knuckles.
I mean, he would probably just replace some of his fingers. But
Yeah. I'll think about that too.
Vampiric Fist.
Gonna be a fun day back at the workshop when we get back to camp.
Oh, so fun. So fun.
Okay. So, eventually Hamlet comes back. You start charging crystals. You get... let me roll. To see how many you get. You get about 6 fully. So you could cast the spell Vampiric Touch with them. So it's 6 full crystals of Vampiric Touch, which I said this in chat the other day, but wizards can crack open crystals and, like scrolls in most other settings, transcribe the spell from the crystal. If you would like, there are 2 wizards in this party, and I don't think Claire has Vampiric Touch.
Not yet.
Not yet. So if she wanted to,
soon.
she could.
After we sell some of this mithril.
Kind of the runes appear, and you transcribe them, and then they vanish. If you wanted to do that, and then Wynne can channel the rest of the energy into restoring and enriching, even the spell says, magically enriching the area around the swamp.
Does the tree get any bigger?
No, because the tree is... Because of the way plant growth is worded. Let's see.
Blossom mithril flowers.
That is cool, but no, because the tree is not a normal plant.
Fair enough.
That doesn't get affected, but everything else does. So, Wynne, what would the spell look like when you cast it?
I feel it's gonna be very like Studio Ghibli, Princess Mononoke style, where it's like Wynne doesn't really touch the tree itself. She just kind of holds her hands up to it, and like green wisps just start flying all over the place, and into the roots start glowing, and just a ton of magic stuff happening.
Okay, awesome.
I could cry. I would be.
All you need to know is it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool and really anime.
Yeah.
Okay, so swelling, beautiful Ghibli score. Joe Hisaishi, I think is the guy's name who usually writes the music, underscores this moment. And you can all see, kind of cutting out to a big wide shot, the tree becomes simply, if you could even call it that, a mithril tree, ironbark. And the quirks kind of, they didn't make this clear earlier, but they say that there are other ironbark trees on Elsyer. Like, this is not the only one. This is one of the bigger ones, but there are other ones.
Wynne will just whisper to him, just make sure you keep that to yourself.
Secrets are fun sometimes.
They are very fun sometimes.
Okay, perfect. We will go back to camp next time. We'll talk about magic items and some more stuff in a little bit of downtime before you all are sent back out on another mission. And we'll talk about what you all share with the group, and if you have to bully any of the people who came out here to tell them what to say or not say. Some of them are infinitely bullyable, like Dust. Outros.
Yes.
Just, I simultaneously want to give a hug and shove into a locker.
It's just the way he looks. It's
I
inevitable.
love you. Give me all your lunch money.
Okay.
Exactly.
You did ask politely.
One hell of a shift dynamic.
Dan, outros and plugs.
Sorry, that was a layup joke. Hi, I'm Dan. Next week, watch as I try to make Mithril full plate and force Andy to crank up the accuracy of all his monsters again. Again.
You don't have enough to make full plate. You can make that like samurai armor.
Good enough for me. Anyways, my plug is playing D&D with your friends and being nice to each other. It's important that you're nice to each other. Yeah, that's about it. I'm a little sleepy.
Pardon my cat. Liz.
Liz, I am also very sleepy. I will plug playing. Yeah, just play games with your friends. Do all the fun stuff you want to do and all that. Just play with your friends. It's super fun.
Mira.
God, sometimes you don't realize the depths of a character until you are put on the spot because bad things happen. But it makes me love Claire even more, and I hope it makes y'all love Claire even more. She's got some ideas, not bad ones, just ideas. Yeah, D&D is a good game, y'all. It's so good. There's so many cool things you can do with it, and I hope that if you haven't had a chance to play in a while, that you get a chance to play again. Or play for the first time.
And Jay.
Vampiric mithril bullets. I'm really excited to see what happens with that. But yeah, play D&D with your friends.
I will echo what everyone said as always. Play games with your friends. If you've never run D&D before, give it a try. It's really fun. And you don't have to be an expert in all the rules. I'm not. Just, if you have a fun idea or you buy an adventure from the DM's Guild or your local bookstore, game store, that's cool too. Those are fun. That's it. Is next week's Star Chasers. Yes, there's nothing on Monday next week. And coming up, Will of Bat will have a part 2. Oh, and Dragon Lords is on Sunday this week again. We're doing back-to-back. Because that's the way the schedule works. And absolutely nothing bad happened in last episode of Dragon Lords. And I don't want to talk about it.
We're just so upset that nothing bad happened that we don't want to mention it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure no one did anything bad while I was gone.
No, why would anyone do anything bad while Liz is gone? Marty is screaming in chat.
Marty is not screaming in chat. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're never allowed to leave us again, Andromeda.
Congratulations, you are now the party adult.
That was already basically true. My Lion Man is he's so simple. Okay, that's it. Have a good night, everybody.
Simple, and I love him for it.
I do too, but bad things happened. How do I do this?
I don't know, you've never